Today on Jerkin Around. Crystal's intuition.
God's intuition. Teisha's domestic violence.
No, don't say that. That sounds wrong.
No, let's leave it. Let's leave it, Dana. It's just, it's like, ooh, what did Teisha do? You know?
My gosh.
Like, it keeps them wanting more, wondering what happened.
So we're not going to...
It's not with Ben, though.
No, so we're not going to erase the whole part?
No, it's such a good story.
Oh, it's so loser.
No, it's the past. Who we are is who we are.
Oh my gosh.
Well, there's other stories. That one's not even that bad. Everybody has stories.
Yeah.
Everybody has stories.
Yeah, people are going to be messaging me, I punched my boyfriend too. No, I'm just kidding.
Following God's intuition and doing it by the Bible way without domestic violence.
Yes. Do I say anything?
Oh my God, we're just being normal.
Oh, jerking around.
Do you want to get your headphones?
Crystal takes her shirt off. Stick around. Should we say it at the same time?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Jerkin Around.
A podcast with Teisha and Crystal.
Maybe we were meant to be on video. I was like, oh, you got plenty of time for you.
Oh, I was like...
Yeah. She'll have a 7 o'clock flight and not pack the night before.
Yeah, but I have an idea usually in my head of what I'm bringing. There? I'm not there at all, but at least it's a lot of cheer clothes.
That makes sense, the difference.
That does. That's
because I'm like, you always pack at
Do you
the
know,
last minute.
like, I'm like, I know I'm bringing this and that.
Yeah, you have to do that whole...
The whole rigmarole.
Yeah. Hudson's not all the way packed yet.
Are they home right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
So I'll grab them
Get them from school.
a little before.
That's so funny.
Yeah. She texts me at like 11. I don't want to go to school. Or I need to pack, I'm not going to school. I'm like, no, you should have done it Sunday then. Or whenever.
Yeah.
Did Ken go?
No. No, she's packing now. She's trying to get me, I like did this thing where she was like she's so rude. And I'm so done with it. So I just like stopped doing things for her.
Good.
And like I stopped buying shit. I stopped doing everything. Like all like full on.
Should I put this on the podcast? It might be a good story.
All full on.
Hold on. Okay, start over.
Well, I feel like it just makes me sound like an idiot parent. So I'm all.
I know, but who
it doesn't
cares?
need to be on the podcast.
All the things I say make me sound like an idiot. That's why you're the liked one. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'm all, you know? It's not like, it's real. Go ahead.
Oh, should we start?
We'll just tell the story.
I just want to hear the story.
Yeah.
Oh, so just like little things like if we like ask the boys to fold like laundry or like go pick up dog poop, they do it like right away. But like with her, she'll be like, oh, I gotta do this. And then like, it never happens. But then she like magically always gets like her Target order. Like, so the other day I was like, hey, you need to fold the clothes in the dryer. And then like an hour went by, she still hadn't done it. And I was like, and so I text Ben, like, do not pick up her Target order because she had a Target order. And so she texted him on his way to baseball. Okay, can you pick up my Target order? She had stuff for the trip.
Yeah.
So he picked it up. He didn't see my text. And then he picked it up. So sure enough, he comes home and gives her stuff and she never folds the clothes. So I like realized at bedtime, we were like going to bed and I was like, yeah, I'm done with Ken. She doesn't do anything I asked. And I'm not doing any more things for her. And then he was like, well, why did I get her Target order? And I'm like, why'd you get the Target order? So we like run down there and we're like grabbing the Target order back and she was like hysterical.
Oh, you guys like decided together.
Yeah.
We're done with this.
He's like, you don't listen. And she's like, yeah, it's all like out. And I was like, no.
I know what you're talking about.
So I'm grabbing
Kyle
it.
and I like get an idea and we're like, that's it.
Yeah, we're down there. He's in his underwear, you know,
Yeah.
like, 'cause we were like in bed and we were like, good night. And then and then he's all, well, why did I get the Target order? I'm like, I text you. And he's like, no, you didn't. And he goes, oh my gosh. So we were like run down there.
No, really? You guys got out of bed?
Yeah, and she
It's
was
so
like,
funny.
She was like, I didn't know what hit her.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am so done with your crap. And I was like, I'm not doing any more. Because I do a lot. Like, she'll be like, hey, can we go by and grab this? Or just even little things like, oh, can I, like on the way home from cheer, can we stop and get food? And so I was like, I am not doing anything else for you because you literally don't do anything I asked. So I'm done. And so we took the Target order back. So now, this was last week, Thursday. So today she's packing. She's like, so that Target order, did you really like throw it away? And because she like spent her own money on it. And I was like, I'm throwing it away. I didn't throw it away, but she's not getting it back. And I was like, she's like, so that Target order, did you throw it away? I'm like, oh yeah, it's long gone. And she's like, what?
You really threw it away?
No, but
Oh.
like I'm not telling her.
Yeah.
But it's like,
But why didn't you make her pack last night and send her ass to school?
because I just didn't care.
Yeah.
She doesn't miss that much, so I'm not like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was more worried about getting myself packed. I didn't really care about her missing. And she's pretty responsible, like tells all the teachers, so I'm not like worried about that. I'm more done doing stuff for her.
Yeah.
Like I go out of my way to help her, and she does not do anything I ask. And she'll be like, oh yeah, I'll get to it. She's not like blatant, like, screw you, I'm not doing it. It's like, oh yeah, let me just do this first, and then it never gets done.
It's almost worse.
It's worse.
Because it's like,
It's
Stop
like,
thinking of herself.
you're like deceiving me.
yes.
Yeah.
And she's tricky. She knows.
She's
Yes.
She's very smart. So it's been a while now since last week that I have not done anything she's asked, and she asks for so much. I'm like realizing.
like you're seeing it.
Like last night on the way home from cheer, she's like, me and Maddie really want QT. It's Maddie's last practice. And I actually wanted to go because it was Maddie's last practice.
like fun.
But I was like, no, sorry. I'm like, you don't do anything I ask. Like, I'll be like, hey, can you fill the dog's bowl up? And then I'll walk by an hour later and it's not done. It's like, she just doesn't do it. And so I'm like, instead of like having a whole fight where I'm like screaming at her and beating her or whatever, it's like I'm just not gonna do anything.
That's what Kevin Lehman says. Let reality be the teacher.
That's what I'm feeling like.
Yeah,
and
let
it's
her
a slower
see.
teach.
Oh, and it's
but
exhausting.
It's a slower than having a big meltdown moment, but I feel like she needs to understand like
What it feels like.
and what I do for you, and like it's a two-way street in this family. If you want me to do things for you, you're gonna have to do things for the family. And like, that's just a part of it. Like the boys do everything we ask. Like, hey, you have these chores, they get done.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it drives me nuts. So yeah, so she's wanting her Target order, it's not happening. She's gonna go to Florida without it, and it's gonna be great. And she always like gets her way somehow. It just like Ben didn't see the text. Like it always works out for her, and I'm done with it. So yeah, I'm just raging. So yeah.
She's so funny.
She's already called me about 12 times this morning. Where's my Target order?
Wait, for real?
Yeah. You're not getting it. Like,
Wait,
what?
you're really not gonna give it to her?
Yes, no. I'm
Like
really,
the whole trip?
No. I'm like, you're not getting it.
Good for you.
I'm done with it. Like, it's like a big change needs to happen.
You know when you have that moment though?
Yes.
I've had that.
And I'm ready to commit to it now because
like it
sometimes I don't care enough to
or you're tired.
stick my feet. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
like,
like
whatever.
I'm dig my heels in the sand or whatever that saying is, but I'm ready. I'm like, let's go. You're not getting anything. Like I literally go out of my way
Even
all
saying
the time.
no last night was probably hard.
Yeah, because I did want to go for Maddie.
Like it was a fun one. That one would have been like a
Yeah, because it was Maddie's
what
last
about
practice.
this one time? Like you do that sometimes, like, and then I'll
Yeah.
start again tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like dieting. You know,
Yeah.
we're trying to do the phones in the living room. It's a pain in the ass
Oh yeah.
to charge them out there. It's such a pain.
Yeah.
And I have to like gear up. We got to cure. No, put them out there. I'm like, I'm so tired.
I know.
care.
And it's hard when you don't care in the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like the hardest thing. And they get home, like Hudson gets home so late that it's like annoying. Like she eats and wants to like chill for a minute.
Yeah.
And I want to go to bed. And I'm like,
I know.
she's really good about it. It's Maddie.
Yeah.
A lot of people have asked about the Snapchat, by the way, from the podcast.
Yeah.
I've had like 3 people call and ask my opinion before they give it to their kids.
Yeah.
And I'm all, don't do it.
I know.
Don't you dare do it.
Yeah,
Maddie's asking for TikTok again. And I'm like, no. I go, you're getting one. So it's TikTok or Snapchat. You're not getting both. You've already lost your mind.
And TikTok's going away in December.
It
so
is?
yeah, like they passed the law. It's like Chinese spyware or something. So
They've been saying that.
so it's going
Somebody's
away,
been
right?
saying
That's
that
what
for a
I
while.
heard. It's going away in December. Is that right?
I think that's
That's exciting.
what it's moving toward.
I know. I was like, great,
Well, Instagram and Facebook are the same, but maybe less Chinese, more American.
Yeah.
Because like when you scroll in that, like, in that thing,
Yeah.
when the videos come and then you scroll
Yeah.
in the videos, I feel like
I
that's
do
TikTok.
feel like it's brainwashing our country, though. It's crazy. I'm glad it's going.
Well, didn't you say, or did I read something? I read something that this kid committed suicide, and the mom went to his TikTok, and on the feed, it was all these kids explaining why it's a good idea. And like, they're not going after them. Like, I feel like, you know how like
Yeah.
the girl said, do it, and then they went after her?
Yeah.
It's like crazy. She goes, I figured out where it came from. On his feed, it was all about suicide.
How sad you're so
And, like,
susceptible
ways to do it.
that. As this, like we don't realize how susceptible our kids are in influence.
Remember when in the old days when they used to have that TV with the doo-doo-doo, and it would like it would be like, it was like a brainwashing on the TV.
Yeah.
And then the people would be it's all stand up and go outside.
Yeah.
We're like on the phones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, and with the algorithms, it's like you're stuck in this cycle of things.
Right.
So you think everyone thinks that because that's
it does make you feel like that. There's so many
Now
like
I'm all weirded out. I'm like, I gotta go check.
yeah, like they have all these like brown-haired girls, and now it's like you want
And
brown
now
hair.
I want brown hair.
It's kind of true though.
Well,
Like,
now
you
I'm
saw-
seeing all these colors I want. I'm all save. I'm like, wow. I need to just like speak what I want, you know? I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, but it's true. Like little things you don't realize we're into. Like the kids their brains are so easily manipulated.
yeah. I was talking to a friend and we were talking about college because she
Who's
had.
the friend?
Well, I feel like we shouldn't name names now. Things are different.
I know, but who's the friend?
But
Can you?
yeah.
Okay.
So her nephews went away to different colleges. We were talking about how college is such a susceptible time because you're really on your own for the first time. You're like figuring out who you are. And we were talking about like sending our kids to like a college where they're not going to get brainwashed, you know?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, it's funny because one nephew went to one college that was more a certain way. And one,
What's the certain way?
I know, I'm just really
I know,
trying
the
to stay
story
politically
sucks.
correct here.
Is Christian or is
No, I think none went to a Christian. One went
was
to
more-
one in Texas and one went to one in Washington.
Okay, we understand it.
So it was very different. And one came back with like a cowboy boots on and like God-fearing, loving country, and one was a little different. And it's funny how just going away to that was like
college opened my eyes to so many things.
that's what I mean. You could see how, and she was saying, yeah, my dad was like, you're not going to NAU, not a university. Like, that's what it stood for. She goes, I know you went there for a year, but that's what my dad said. But he didn't want me to he was very, he was like, you're not going to a school where you're going to get told things that aren't in line with what, like, we believe.
So where'd she go? San Diego State?
Yeah, I guess it was.
that
I guess
more
it
in
was
line?
better then. Yeah, he wouldn't let her go to Northern
off.
California or Northern Arizona.
What happens in the Northerns?
I guess San Francisco's a little different, like Northern California, I guess. I don't know. So I think it just depends who you maybe get involved with.
Yeah.
There's different things everywhere. But anyways, it's just funny. The point of the story is how susceptible you are at those ages. It's just weird how though, like.
I think you're just influenced by the people around you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And like in different areas, things are different, you know?
Yeah.
But I think that's also good to go to a place that believes differently than you do. Like, I think it's good to
Expose yourself
See, that
to the
was
world.
me. I think I've talked about this before, but when I was dating, I'm probably gonna get an email if he ever listens, but the guy that was doing the shrooms, by the way, when I was listening to that story, it's so funny.
Yeah.
But he was more diverse, well, if you will. And he didn't believe in God, and he got me to start not believing in God. He used to say it was like a crutch, and it's for weak people, just so they can believe into something. And he wanted like the analytical, like proven facts, and that's not my brain. I'm
Yeah.
more of an emotion-led person. I don't really care about facts, you know? That sounds really ignorant saying that, but it's just the truth. Like, it's just things I've experienced. It's not that it's
Well, I think
scientific
you
for
grew
me.
up believing it's not like you had the analytical facts.
No, and
to
it's not
debate.
scientific. Like, I don't know the details.
Which there is a lot of
There
scientific.
is.
Yeah.
So I went through like 3 months where I was obviously making bad choices, drinking a lot. All my bad choices happened when I was drinking, first of all. Those of you that are young, thinking about drinking, I would be a better person if I never drank. But all my so it was like when you have guilt and shame, you start kind of going away from God because you feel embarrassed to like, it's hard to pray and like have him in your life when you feel like you're disappointing him constantly. So you kind of go this way from God. So I was going that way already. And then he was obviously doing some weird things that I was like, if my values led me, I would say someone doing shrooms is not the right person for me, you know? But I was like, forget that. It's a crutch, you know? And I was like, it made me want to be with him more. I want to be with him so bad that I wanted to like identify, understand him. Yeah, and I was just raised always going to church. God was always, it was like Santa, but forever. Like it never was proven to not be true. So it's always just how we lived. And so that was the first time I understood why I believed. Like I got away and then I don't remember what happened that got me back, but it was probably 6 months. I just really went through this, like, why? And is he right? Maybe I started reading a little bit. I gave him a book that somebody told me to give him. I don't remember. It's called Case for Christ. He became a Christian after that because it was all facts and all data that, like, really resonated with him. And he became, like, religious after that, which is totally God's plan of why I was in his life. Like, it's hard when you grow up in a strong Christian family, they really encourage you to date someone equally yoked. That's like the verbiage.
Yeah.
You want to date someone equally yoked, which I totally agree with. But most of my boyfriends were not equally yoked. And in the long run, they did become Christian. Not because of me fully, but I do think you plant a seed in life and you make them see God. And then throughout life, I think they end up, like going that way. So that's, I don't know, it's cool because you always think maybe there was a reason why we were together, even though we did shrooms, it all worked out, And had the girl's underwear in his drawers. And I was like, oh, everybody has that. Like, they were like trophies. They were all different. And none of them were mine.
Was he a serial killer? Like, it's
kind of weird.
Serial killer
That's what
vibes,
I mean. But I was like, that's fine. Like, no, it's not. Like,
he had a few baby teeth,
yeah, he had
like,
these
it's
weird
weird.
bloody knives in the other drawer.
Yeah.
With and he had all these IDs.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, ugh.
But I just wanted to love him. Like, that was my whole mission, was like loving him in spite of ourselves. It was like Teisha and I's mission.
Yeah.
Just to love people, even when they don't do right. Love people, love people.
Yeah.
And we saw God work so much in that. It was crazy. And now she's not doing that. And that's really why we're here today.
I love everybody.
But do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. Totally.
Did you just get a facial too?
No.
She's been tanning.
Okay.
No, but not in a while. I was more tan last week. That's why you guys are noticing all these things that were
No,
last
I think
week.
I was noticing it too. You look really tan.
I did spray my face today.
And it's
With
all,
that
like,
stuff?
flowy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I spray my face too. Have you guys had your armpits waxed?
No. I feel like it would hurt.
I thought it hurt. Sarah thought it hurt a lot. So, but I've had the woohoo waxed, and that's so painful. So the armpits were way better than that.
I can't do any of it. I can't even do my eyebrows.
It's the best thing I've ever done. Now I'm in this weird window where I probably should go today before we leave.
Oh.
And I can't, so then I might have to shave. I tried waxing
But then you have to
myself.
grow it out again to
Yeah,
wax,
it's just
right?
like, I don't know what to do. But
How long does it take to grow it out before you go?
have you ever seen my armpits before? This
Yeah.
has been like 2.5 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I shave every day.
That's usually like later in the day.
It
That's
is.
usually like you did it this
Thank
morning
you.
and this
I
is
know.
5 p.m.
It is, right?
It's like a 5 o'clock shadow, but for your armpits.
But can you believe it? It's
Yeah.
like not bad, but I
Yeah.
can't go on. I have to
Yeah.
maybe I'll try to shave on myself, wax on myself. I was
Yeah.
gonna text Amy. But I'm like so for it now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta get my armpits waxed more often.
Yeah.
Because I do have to shave them like throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, it's like,
That's funny.
Anyways.
How long did it take you to grow them out?
oh, for me,
Yeah.
3 days.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
all, Amy, I'm ready. Let's
Yeah.
do this.
And she's like, whoa. Yeah.
Months, huh?
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah. It was bad. There was something else we were talking about yesterday that I wanted to talk about on here. We should just not talk. Oh, church, though. We were going to say this before.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
Ashley did cry. But, like, it was so
I'm
real. No, it was
Like
so
every other
good.
week,
No, it was real. It was, like, really. Though the stories were so good. He was, like, it was so good.
I know, it just like takes away when the
No,
crying.
not these stories.
It didn't?
Mm-mm. They were, like, justified. Like,
Yeah.
it was about how you hear God, which is, I don't know. I think we've been talking, the three of us, about being busy. And, like, everybody knows I am wanting to quit, but I've been so busy that I haven't had time to have moments and, like, let God lead my day. I pray. And at real estate, I pray a lot for my deals. I pray for him to step in. I pray, like, I haven't been doing my devotionals, like we said. So I started doing that a little bit more, trying to, like, go to him first. But the talk was all about, like, when you hear God's prompting and how you hear it, which is something I feel like I'm pretty in tune with normally.
Yeah.
Like, I always hear him, like, do this. And I'm like, no. And he talks about how you, like, argue.
Yeah.
I can just tell a small story. It's so good. So he was out of town, and he was going on a flight, and he was, like, speaking all weekend. He was so tired, and he got upgraded. you know, to the lay down seat.
Oh,
and he was
gosh.
so excited because he flies a lot.
Yeah.
So he like got upgraded.
believe.
Yeah.
I'm all-
And I was like, oh my gosh, a gold
Yeah,
mine.
like that sounds amazing.
And he was like, I was so excited. Like, it's a 4.5 hour flight. Like, I'm gonna nap, be refreshed when I get home, see the family. Like, I could feel it. I was like, oh, that is so exciting. So he's so excited. And he's like, yes. And he's sitting there. And then he sees this guy with no legs. And he has to crutch and swing. Like, because he has no legs. So he crutches and swings his body and crutches and swings his body.
Oh.
And he sees him like, it gives me the chills.
Oh,
it's
it's
a
making
battle
me sick, yeah.
to get there. And Ashley was like showing what it was. And he goes, oh, see, it's making me, this
Yeah.
one was like so cool.
Yeah, this is where cry-worthy.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
fine
so
with
cry-worthy. So the guy goes to the counter and he's trying to get like a different seat. And there's the flight attendant of the Chelsea. The flight attendant's telling him, no, like, sorry, we're full. And Ashley heard God say, give him your seat. And he's like, no, I just got upgraded. I'm tired. The guy has a seat. Like,
Yeah.
you know, she said he has a seat, just maybe not when he wants. And he's like, give him your seat. And he's like, no, that's so embarrassing. And I've had this too where you don't want to offend him. He goes, it's obvious he doesn't have legs. Like, I don't want to make that more of an issue.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
oh.
It's hard. You don't want to
Yes.
you want to treat him like an equal,
Yes.
but yeah.
And so he said, no, I'm going to embarrass him. Like, this is stupid. And I'm going to take a nap.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't let up. So he goes up to the other flight attendant. He didn't want to go to the guy. And he said, excuse me. He goes, fine, I'll go to this lady and ask.
Yeah.
And he goes, does he have a seat? Is everything okay? And she goes, yeah, he just has a seat in the middle at the back of the plane. Which means down the aisle, he would have to swing.
Oh my God.
All the way down to the aisle. So Ashley felt like, he goes, I felt like such a jerk. Like, clearly God was telling me to
Yeah.
help him. So he went up to the guy and he said, listen, we're going to trade seats. And he was like, no. He's like, nope, he's like, here, you're going to get my seat. I'm going to take your seat. He's like, God, you know, this is just what we're
Oh,
doing.
it's making me cry.
So the guy goes and gets in a seat, and Ashley puts his head down, and he's going to the back freaking middle seat by the bathroom. And the flight attendant goes up to him and said, excuse me, why did you just give him your seat?
Yeah.
Like, that's such a good seat. And he goes, you know, God just told me I need to give him my seat. Like,
Yeah.
I just felt like I need to. She was like so taken back, and she's like, so God just told you? And he's like, yeah, he just said, you know, go give him your seat. And I just felt like he needs it more than I do. And she's like, wow. She's like, you know what? Because you did that, I have an open seat here in the emergency row. You know how you have like the big
Yeah.
space? Yeah. She's like, you can sit there. He's like, perfect. I can sleep.
Yeah.
Like, this is all working out. God,
Yeah.
you were right. He sits down. He said he sits down to the oldest person he's ever seen. And he's like, oh boy. He's like, he was the oldest person I've ever seen. And he sits down and he says, what's your name? This and that. And he said, my name's Harry. And, you know, I just went on a trip to see my son. And he's like, you know, I'm getting older. It might be the last time I ever see my son. And he said, so what do you do? And Ashley said, well, you know, I'm a pastor. He said for 4 hours they talked about God. And like, the guy wasn't a Christian.
Oh my God.
And like, for 4 hours they talked about God and all the facts and all the data. And by the end of the flight, Ashley said, wow, God, like he believed, like he saved his life before he died. And he's like, it wasn't about the guy with the legs.
Yeah.
I didn't see that what you were calling me to do was so much greater
To be in that seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like the coolest story. And I was like, it's not always the one thing you see.
Yeah.
Like when you don't listen to God's promptings, you miss.
The plan.
Yeah, like saving people's lives, not just giving him a seat. So he had like 3 really crazy stories like that. And they were all like emotional. And he's like, but think about the times you don't listen.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, it was like so good. You know, when like the whole time he's speaking, you're nowhere but like in deep thought and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So after you know how you get busy? Like we were at home, so all this stuff happened and I wanted to get back to thinking about what God was telling me. And I was thinking about my mom's not feeling good right now. And I was like, last night, I was like, maybe I should go over there because she's sick, but it's kind of a hard one. She has the stomach flu and I like don't want to get it. Yeah. Like they're competing. Like I'm not trying to be selfish, but I'm like, oh, I can call her. I'll send her an IV guy. Like I'm not really wanting to go there, but maybe I should. I'm probably gonna now. But sorry, you might get, I'll wear a mask. I don't know. But I don't know. So, but I thought about the night before my dad died. I was a little, and this is like guilt that I do have. It was the casino. I was really excited to play. And we went across, I was trying to like make Kyle and the kids a priority. So I was playing with my parents and my aunt, and then we went across to the other casino. And while I was there, my aunt called me and was like, was like, hey, your parents are ready to go up because they were both in scooters. Do you want to take them up there and like put them to bed? And I was like, yeah, but I'm just across the street. I'll come back. And my aunt's
So you were with Kyle?
I was with Kyle, my brother, Allie. All the kids were at New York.
Okay.
They were playing, I was playing at New York, but I like went over with them, you know, and like, I was with them. Like I didn't stay at the machine I wanted to stay at. I went across and found another machine. Yeah. But I'm not saying it was winning. I'm not saying that at all. It was loser. And my aunt called and I was like, well, yeah, I'll come right back right now. It's just gonna take me a few minutes. She's like, you know what? They're really tired. I'll just take them up. So she took him up, put him in bed, and texted me a whole thing. Tomorrow, I'm gonna go with Cheryl a little. Will you get him his favorite prosciutto sandwich and this and that? And I was like, sure. But I had this like unsettling feeling, like
you should have gone.
Yeah. And so I was like, yeah. So I told myself tomorrow I'm not doing one thing but spending the day with my parents. Like this is why I'm here. I'm gonna spend the whole day with them. And I went to bed. I'm in. You know when you can't like sleep. I wasn't like feeling great. And I saw on Facebook that thing with the phones ringing and it said mom and dad. Like dad was calling and mom was calling. And you've probably seen it. It said, if you're still getting these phone calls, you're like the luckiest person in the world. And it like made me sick. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so lucky. I still have my parents. I almost reshared it. Yeah. You know when you like. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to reshare that. That's so good. Because sometimes you get annoyed. Oh, they're calling. You know? Yeah. And then a few hours later, we got the call. And I was like, God was stirring something in me. Yeah. Like, but I was so whacked with those stupid machines. Yeah. That I like was missing it. And there's like guilt that comes with those moments. Yeah. But and Ashley said this, when we're so busy with the world's jobs, we don't leave time for his jobs. And I'm like, yeah, that is so true. You have so many ways to justify different things. But when I'm living his will, I literally can hear him all day long. Yeah. Like, and every time I've done what he's told me to do for whatever reason, you never know what that means, but later I'll see and I'm like, oh my gosh. He's told this story before about when he randomly wanted to call his friend from high school and he's like, no, I haven't talked to him in years, it's awkward. He's like, call him. And he called him and he didn't answer, but he left a voicemail. He never heard anything of it. 5 years later, he ran into the guy and he said, I was going through the worst divorce of my life. I was literally contemplating killing myself and you called. And he's like, I know I didn't call you back, but I guess all during high school, Ashley was trying to get him to believe in God. So he knew who Ashley was. Yeah. And he's like, that saved my life.
Like it was a sign. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ashley was like from a phone call. Right. You know, it's like you never know why he prompts you. Yeah. But it talked about when God prompts you, the 4 things are, it'll never be against like God's will. Like it won't be like, stab him, you know, like punch that guy out, you know. Yeah. Take the money and run, you know. It's not going to be.
I know, God told me like that crazy mom that like was abusing her kids for like God. Like, no.
That's what he's saying. It won't not be like following the Bible or God's will. Yeah. And then it said like, it'll be uncomfortable. And that's like so true because when you make big steps or leaps, you feel uncomfortable. And it'll be a major sacrifice, usually. So he's like, me giving up my seat. Like, I wanted that seat so bad. He's like, it'll be a sacrifice and it'll be uncomfortable and no other people won't understand it. Yeah. And I was all, okay. Like, most things are a sacrifice when it's God's will, but it's so hard to sacrifice because we're so self-motivated, you know? Like, what about me? We're called to live not about us, right? About everyone else. And that's how you get true fulfillment, is like from taking care of other people. Yeah. But I was thinking, I haven't really like done a lot of God's things like that as much as I normally do, like for people. When he's like, even that, we told that story when we gave the lady the $100 tip and she's like, now I can go home to see my family. Yeah. You know, we thought it was stupid. She just brought us some towels. And we're not rich. That sounds like, you know, give us towels, you get hundreds. But it was like one of those moments.
Meaningful,
where we're like, we got to give her a really big tip.
It was just like a weird thing. You had like a feeling, you know?
And most often when you do those things, but I think he said that people don't always know that that's God's voice. It's like a whisper.
Well, and I think it's like a muscle. Like the more you listen to that voice and do it and see it pan out and like the supernatural, like things that come from listening to it, like how, like, it like reinforces you to listen to it again. Yeah. You know? And then when you don't use it,
that's
you're
where
like,
I feel like I'm at.
Yeah, when you don't use it, then you're like, oh, I didn't listen and it's everything worked out. It's fine. It's like, it's totally something that you see and then you're like, oh, that's what that is.
Yeah, you have to, and it's done in practice.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with work, I think it's just a normal battle for us, all three of us actually, we work and have our own businesses, and Teisha and I have been talking about this a lot. It's just a really hard battle. And I think for men, for women, for everybody these days with two working parents, it's so hard to not follow, like, not the world's, but like, I gotta work, I gotta get here, I gotta get there, I gotta get there, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. That's all. The main thing there is I gotta. Instead of like his will. Like God wants me. If you look at your day of what God's calling you to do versus what the world's telling you have to do, they're totally different things.
Yeah.
And like juggling the guilt of being so busy, growing a successful business, which we have grown a very successful business. And I can tell you, it's not fulfilling. It's not. It's something that we're in deep talk about right now. I'm like, where did I go wrong? I did it the world's way, right? Like I built it, I branded it, I. Instead of like he.
Yeah.
Where did he call us to be? The biggest name in real estate to get on the list? I don't think so. And so I think it's just like that's where it's empty right now is it's not his calling. And we have expenses and we have things that you acquire, and then it's like you're on the treadmill.
Like the quality of life that you're used to living.
Paying for this. Yeah. I got it, because the bigger you get, the bigger the expenses get. So everybody thinks we make a lot of money. Okay, for sure. My 1099 looks great. My paycheck looks crappy. Because the bigger you get, the bigger it all gets. And like, that's for me. That's not for him.
Yeah.
That's for me. So I think you get very on a treadmill of distraction.
Yeah.
For sure.
I have to. Mm-hmm. Instead of he wants me, his will is.
Well, and like, I feel like since I started working so much, I'm like, I do way less home stuff. Like, it still gets done between Ben and I, but it's not like I take joy in cooking a dinner like I used to, or like take joy in it's funny.
Taking the kids somewhere.
Yes.
You're on the phone.
Yeah. So I'm still doing it, but it's like a different thing. Yeah. And it's crazy because I feel like the less you do that, the more like, I'm like, I don't want to do that. And like, that's not right.
Yeah.
And so it was funny because yesterday I was home. I didn't have to go anywhere. Like I didn't have any work that required like going, like staging or listing appointments or, and so I was home for the majority of the day and like with Fox, and it was crazy because I was like unloading the dishwasher and I made dinner early so it was ready, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna like find the joy in doing these things. And because at first I was like grouchy about it. I was like, I'd much rather be running around and then just come home and have to either make the kids do it or I do half, Ben does half. Instead, I was like, I'm gonna find the joy in doing this, and like, how lucky am I get to do this, And it was just like a perspective shift. But then I was like, not grouchy about it. It was weird, And I was like, I could be happy doing these things again, because it's weird how you like get in the rut of, I don't know if it's making sense what I'm saying.
It is.
But yeah, it was weird because normally I'm like, I got it.
And then I have to do the dishwasher.
Yeah, it's not like...
Because you're being pulled here, those are annoying.
And so annoying. And they're not joyful. Like, just to be honest, it's not like...
That's the first thing you want to let go of.
Yeah. I'm like, I'd much rather like go to work and make money for like a trip or like,
or
like...
to help.
And it like feels good to like work and be productive. Whereas like unloading the dishwasher, no one's all, great job,
Yeah.
So it's like at work when you like stage a house and then it sells, you have like satisfaction of like a job well done. And I feel like all the jobs at home and raising kids does not provide that, but it's like more godly. So it's just weird because I was like, I'm gonna make this joyful. And I was like, I get to hang up my clothes, And I was all,
But I bet when Ben got home, he was so happy.
Yeah. He was all, this dinner's delicious, He's so excited.
I know they do. Those are my favorite days when I'm home and I get all the laundry done and I'm just home. And then by the time everyone gets there, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm like ready for them. I'm ready to pour into them.
Yeah.
Like Aaron did a talk last month at Shine that was amazing. And again, now that I'm reflecting back, I feel like God's been trying to talk to me so much, but I had like, in the limo where they have the thing up to the back seat, I feel like I've had that thing up to the back seat to his will, his calling, and I think if we listened a few weeks ago, I was like, I'm not feeling close to God. And Dana pointed that out to me last week when we were talking. I think I did this because I didn't want to hear him because I wasn't ready for what he was going to tell me to do. And I didn't want, because I'm a listener.
Yeah.
I am a listener. So if I hear it, I can't unhear it. So I think I've stayed so busy and put that wall up because I don't want to hear him. But after like my dad passed and my aunt, there was so much that you can't unsee. about what really matters in life. Like,
well, and I feel like you've been going through a weird time, but now it makes more sense. Like, it was maybe God trying to, like, get through to you of, like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that slowly the limo.
Like, there was a reason you were feeling so,
yes.
you know?
Yeah. And even listening, I can hear it differently than I can feel it. Because, again, I don't think it's me. So I'm like, this girl's really struggling.
Yeah. Well, that girl that Crystal really resonates with,
yeah.
you know?
The girl, but I can hear, like,
yeah.
Because we're so trained, and I mean, I feel like it's but we were raised differently, but we're so trained to fight through. So I'm like, I can handle hard. I will get through it. But I think sometimes we're not supposed to get through it. It's hard because it's trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
But I'm not listening. And so I'm starting to listen. And now it's like, oh, there's so many things that I was missing because I was staying too busy to hear him. And I think as moms, it's a very, like, sacrifice and those things are the real fulfilling things in life. I even think back when we used to have kids naturally, I think going through that much pain is like a bond. Like, I sacrificed my body, my stretch marks, my boobs, like everything is for that kid. And when you sacrifice and go through pain, I think you, like, appreciate things. And sometimes with our kids even, we're taking away the sacrifice and the pain because we want to help make life easier for them instead of equipping them. And the struggles that they go through, that's where the joy comes from, the struggle. But, like, it's just natural for us to be like, let me help you out. Ooh, you're overwhelmed. Let me help you.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, no, that's going to bond you to something. When you graduate, you're going to be proud of something. I've been watching Worlds for Cheer, like on the TikTok, but not TikTok, the YouTube. And I love watching, like, teams win. There's something to that. I think because we felt it before. Mm-hmm. And, like, as a coach like that, I just watch the reels of them calling their name. And, like, the emotion.
The moment, yeah.
And I'm like, what that is all those times I wanted to give up. All those times it was so hard. All those times their body hurt. All those times, like, they had adversities that they thought they wouldn't be able to do it. That's why you cry. That's why that win is so important. If you didn't go through sacrifice, A, you wouldn't win, and B, it wouldn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes it's just natural to try to, like, deviate from those things instead of, like, lean into them.
Yeah.
And sacrifice is doing the dishes and the laundry and even having sex with your husband. Like, sometimes we just don't want to. But, like, you have to,
Well,
like...
I didn't do that before I left.
Kyle went to bed before me and I was like, crap, do I wake him? But he's going to be all worked up by the time I get back.
Yeah.
I know. But it didn't happen. But, like, those things, it's because sometimes you feel like it's all about everyone else.
Yeah.
But I think innately that's how we're created.
Yeah.
I think everyone, like,
and the men.
In service to others, you feel better and more fulfilled in any way, you know.
But I'm so worried about servicing my clients instead of servicing the people in my life.
She likes to service people.
Well, in college. Yeah, in college.
Like Chandler and Friends, you know when he's like, you know when he's trying to, like, go for the job interview and they're like, do the opposite of all your reactions. And he's like, when she's all the poop or whatever, and he's all... That's what I feel like when you're talking. That's funny.
So when did you service someone in college?
I haven't serviced anybody in a few days.
Days.
Well, Ben. I'm like...
In college?
Oh, college.
What are you looking for?
I was looking at my email.
Oh, speaking of.
I know. I'm all... No, yeah. But I do feel like things have been happening to me lately where I'm, like, seeing signs of, like, just weird things, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, that never bothered me before. Like, just kind of like you said.
Like what?
I'm not a big, like, God's not like, Teisha, you know, like, he's a little more like that to you. I'm more kind of like, I think because I didn't grow up, like, listening to God, I think, like you said, it's learned or it's like a muscle you practice. I never had that growing up. I'm very much like, I decide something, I make it happen. I'm just a do-it-yourself kind of girl where I'm like, this is what I want and this is what I'm doing. And I think that, like, I don't know. So I'm not very big on, like, listening to God's and maybe prompting. I don't, like, ask.
You should listen to that service so much.
Yeah. But I feel like things happen to me that get my attention. And so, you know, I feel like things have been happening this week. Like, we had the Mother's Day, so cute and then it was like everyone's mom was all, you're the best, like, snuggler. And then Fox is all, you're the best worker. And I was all, oh, thank you, you know? And then, he accidentally got left home alone for a minute, and that wasn't a great moment. Ben and I was working out in Tempe, and Ben thought Kennedy was home, but then she got picked up for cheer, and then we realized that, for a second, it was not like, the best. So I feel like things have been like telling me like, you gotta refocus your priorities. So it's not necessarily God talking to me, as I feel like I'm like, oh, there's a lot of like indicators that I need to.
Well, and I think I'm a firm believer in like you are created by God, and God talks through your intuition.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't have to be the big
voice.
I'm not very intuitive though, I don't think. Do you think I
I
am?
think that's exactly what you just described.
Yeah,
Really?
I think so too. I think you are too.
Really?
Yeah, I totally think you're intuitive. I feel like your intuition is very strong.
Really?
Sometimes it's crazy, and that's where it misleads you, like the phalange. Like,
yeah, maybe that's why.
That's why you can't always listen.
Yeah.
But I do think
it's all the plane's gonna crash, and I'm all. But like, I really think it is. And
Yeah.
I'm all, God, if this plane's gonna crash, I just pray that
you don't even. I'm gonna
help me be
video
okay
what's
with
gonna
it.
happen today.
But yeah,
It's gonna be.
it's whacked. Ben goes, last night I was watching Instagram, and he goes, why are you watching that? You're going on a plane tomorrow. My algorithm is so. It's like it's
All the Boeing stuff.
all the Boeings, every plane that ever crashed in the whole world, every turbulent, it's like slides and wheels.
I'm getting it
falling
too.
off.
I'm getting it too, and I'm scared to
it's so
death.
stressful. But yeah, maybe that's why, because I do get intuition about
That mislead.
Yeah, but it's so weird. So like in college, my boyfriend, I like woke up in the middle of the night. That's why my friends are always like, you know things. So I guess I am
I feel like you
intuitive.
are very
And they're
intuitive.
like, you know things. But then when
Tell us about the
but
boyfriend.
the phalange, it's off. So I don't know.
Tell us what happened with the boyfriend.
Can't trust it. So literally, I like woke up in the middle of the night. My boyfriend was always going out, and I was always like, don't go out, stay home with me. Like it was a little of the shroom guy, less serial killer vibes, but still not okay.
This?
Yeah, and so I literally woke up in the middle of the night, and it was like 3 a.m., and I had this weird feeling so he had gone out, and I was like, don't go out, and he's like, I'm going out, and I like had this feeling that like he wasn't alone in his bed at his house, so I drove there.
You did at 3 a.m.?
Yes, I drove.
From Tempe?
No,
Or from Scottsdale?
I was living here, right, or 51st and Bell with Gary.
Okay, and
at
you
the
drove
time.
to 43rd.
And I drove to 43rd.
You left the house, was Gary
Yes,
like, where are you going?
Megan had stayed over with me. She was at my house.
So you left
I think
her.
it was Megan. It was someone. And so, or maybe it was Monica. Anyways, it was someone. And I was like, I woke up and I was like, he's not alone. And I just had this feeling. And I drove to his house. And
Did you have a key?
Yes. And I opened the door and I walked inside and I walked up the stairs and I walked in his room and he was laying in the bed and he either had one or two girls in the bed with him.
What?
And I was like, and I like, I'm like, did I punch him or did I punch her? I can't even remember what I did.
Did you punch somebody?
I think I punched somebody. And like, I woke their asses up. I was like,
wait, really?
Yeah,
That
I
is
went
like
crazy.
insane.
I was like, hello. And then he like woke up and I feel like I punched somebody. This is a horrible story.
No,
I sound
it's like the best story I've ever heard. I'm like on my seat, like, what?
I don't think I punched her. I think I punched him. I sound like such a loser
No.
right now. It's like never
I don't think you
been-
sound like a loser.
Never
You
been
punched him.
More loser, like domestic violence, a little vibes,
Oh, totally.
Yeah, I know. I'm all, and then I had this shotgun, and I was like, Earl, like like it's a little weird.
Carry on your own.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't feel like this was right.
Wait,
but-
I can't believe this. Was it two?
And
There's no way you would.
I think it was two. It was two girls, and one was like a girl and then her friend. I don't know. And I turned around and walked out. And he was like, wait, calling me, blowing my phone. I totally got back with him, loser. But like in that moment, but isn't that weird? My intuition
Wait,
was
that's
like
crazy.
That's why my friends have deboarded a plane with me because I'm all, this plane's going down. And they're all, she's right, So maybe I am intuitive, but it's off with planes. Yeah. It's intuitive.
And the few things you go rogue.
Yeah, it's like the dark side of me gets the...
She always used to tell me, I don't think I'm going to live to get married or have kids. I just have this intuition.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I think you're just single and nervous.
Yeah.
Everybody's like that. They think they're going to be the last one. They think they're never going to get the life.
Yeah. My friend Megan was like, I'm kind of weirded out because you are right about a lot of things, but then it didn't come true. So.
I've heard, my other friend just told me this story of when she woke up in the middle of the night, pictured a girl, and then got on her friend's, like her husband or boyfriend's email and caught emails, and the girl did have the hair that she pictured.
Yeah, it's like, it's like weird.
Your
I think I blew a
intuition in the
vein.
middle of the...
Look at that. And it hurts.
We're in the middle of this whole
punching the
podcast.
guy? Is that-
I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe God's telling you, don't punch someone this weekend.
That's really weird. Look how dark it is.
Does it hurt?
And it hurts, yeah. That's weird. But anyways, Isn't that
That's
that's so crazy. So I do feel like it's God being like, hey, get over there. He's got 2 chicks. Because I never would have known.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't believe that.
And I do feel like after that, things changed. Like I was like I did get back with him, but I was always like,
well, always had one foot out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
He was like, nothing happened. We were tired. You know, well, then I was all right, you know? But like, something probably happened. Like,
isn't it funny when you look back and you're like, I was an
idiot. Like,
yeah, you're all 100% something happened.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Like, you're stupid. And even if it didn't, that's still not okay.
No.
Like,
couch or not even at.
No, not even at the house. Like, go stay at Joey's or Susie's, you know? Like, not.
I can't even believe that. Did they have clothes on?
I don't know. I just remember, I totally think I punched him. But, like, that's so loser.
We're not saying our past is
Or maybe
good.
slapped. Maybe I slapped.
Do you think slap sounds better?
I don't think any of them are okay. I was an
I love
idiot.
that that's what you're fixing.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it was just like I depanced him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kicked him in the nuts.
Yeah, something. I think I did something grand. Or maybe I just turned around and walked out.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
let's go with that one.
Yeah.
Slam the door.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Punch the wall on the way out.
Yeah.
Remember, God, it will be of God and not, you know?
Yeah. And it'll be a sacrifice, you know? No, but yeah, of God. Yeah, God didn't tell me to punch anybody. That's
He
wrong.
told you to turn around and walk away.
Yeah.
And not get back with him.
You know, though, I'm watching this show. It's called Jamestown. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. Have you heard of it? It's kind of Outlander vibes, which I am obsessed with Outlander. But it's back in the colony when England first came over in the 1600s and they made the colony of Jamestown, Virginia.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm like obsessed with historical fiction shows. And so then first the men were alone for 12 months and then they sent the women to like procreate because they formed the colony. But it's crazy because like, women have no rights. It's so crazy. Like, I wouldn't last for 5 minutes back then. They'd be like, hang this bitch. You know, like.
She's a witch.
Yeah, she's a loudmouth. There's this one girl, Verity, and she's married to the tavern keeper, and she's a loudmouth. She's yelling at guys, and like, they're gonna hang her. Because she's like, you can't yell at guys. But it's crazy how they had no rights. I can't even imagine living back then. Or like, you get like a bee sting and you die. Like, there's no medicine. It's crazy. The guy had kidney stones, and I had kidney stones, and he had to cut into his kidney and pull the stones out, the doctor. Oh, it's crazy. I'm like, this is crazy. But anyways, it's such a good show. But I don't know why it brought me to that. But I was just like, oh my gosh. I don't know why we got on that. But I wouldn't last for very long.
No, same.
I was definitely created to be in this time where you can punch your boyfriend if he's got a couple girls in the bed. Let's erase this part from the podcast. It's
My
wrong.
favorite part. So
No,
far.
it's wrong. It's wrong. I can't. All right. I feel like we should end on that before I incriminate myself any further.
I'm worried about your hand.
I know. Isn't that weird?
To cut it open.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. My mom needs an IV. So I'm trying to plan
Is she okay,
one.
though?
No, she's not great. And I'm going to follow my intuition and get her the IV.
Yeah.
She texts me, get me the IV.
All right.
Okay, guys. Jerkin around.
I gotta go pack. If you're really struggling, please reach out to a qualified professional, because that's not us,
We're just here to share our journey.
and to make you laugh
And cry.
and pick your nose.
And touch your boobs.